Yoshi's Cookie. Now the idea behind Yoshi's Cookie is to the left of the screen there are a bunch of different cookies, shapes, and designs. What you have to do is you have to move a cursor and either move it up or down, and you maneuver them so that the cookies disappear when there are 3 or more matched. And that's Yoshi's Cookie, another damn good puzzle game. That's one thing I love about the Game Boy games. There are a lot of puzzle games for the Game Boy. Okay, Godzilla. It's a platformer game starring Godzilla. Game and Watch Gallery. These are adaptations of the old Game and Watch games that you had those little watches that you open up and you play. They've got the originals and modern graphics versions, and they're a lot more addictive than what you think they would be. I was surprised at how addictive they are. It's pretty good at it, they're mini games, but they're still kind of fun. It's fun to see how much, once you think, you get one score, you want to go on, start all over again, see if you can do it some more. And it's pretty fun. I'm shocked how fun it is. Okay. Kicks. Based off the old arcade game, what you have to do is you got this little shiny or sparkling stylus that you move up and down, left and right, and what you do is you use it to manipulate it around the screen and kind of close off parts of the screen, and you have to close up about 75% of the screen before you can go on to the next level. The problem is you have this little weird little swirly that comes around at random and comes out and tries to hit you while you're on the screen. And the first couple of levels are easy, but after that they get really tough. Plus you got these little firecracker type fuses that come and chase after you. But the graphics are pretty good, and it plays just like the original arcade game. It's a great game, but it's tough sometimes. Okay, Q-Billion. This is kind of a mathematical type game where you got cubes or squares made of with the numbers 1, 2, or 3 on them, and maybe more numbers, I don't know. But you're basically trying to make the squares so that they all say 1. And it's kind of hard to describe and somewhat kind of hard to do, but there's that. It's a great puzzle game. Kind of hard to explain though. Mousetrap Hotel. You're basically a mouse trying to escape from certain rooms, and you're trying to avoid traps and whatnot and enemies. Boxel 2, more of the same. Even the design is the cover art's the same, only with more goofier graphics, but they look exactly the same almost if you put them side by side. Dexterity. The idea is you have a bunch of squares. You do this character, and you've got a bunch of unlit squares. The room's divided into a bunch of squares, and what you have to do is you have to go to each square and flip them over before the enemy gets to you. And that's the idea. You have obstacles in the way, and you have bad guys coming after you. Top Rank Tennis. It's basically a tennis game. Self-explanatory. Solomon's Key, a Game Boy spin-off to Solomon's Club. A spin-off of Solomon's Key, where you're in a room and you're going against you're trying to avoid a bunch of bad guys. You're trying to find a key to escape each room. That's basically that. Bart versus the Juggernauts. This is kind of a satire of American Warriors that was popular back in the 90s, but it's starring Bart, and it's a bunch of mini sports games that Bart has to play to compete in. And amazing penguin. Basically, you're a penguin. I don't know why a penguin. And you're in a room that's divided into different sections. And each section has a little dot on it that you have to go over and claim. You know, you put the penguin over the dot and you hit the A button and you claim it. And you got to claim all the sections of the room. All this in the room before you can go on to the next level. He's got to, of course, avoid bad guys that are coming after him. And some of the dots, once you click on them, they actually repel the bad guys. Some of them actually will attract the bad guys. So you got to be careful how you do it. Okay, Allied Space. It's basically you're a spaceman, and it's from an isotropic level, or isotopic or whatever, isotropic, and you're basically going from room to room to room, killing the bad guys, and you have to do certain objections to get to each room. You're basically little puzzles to get from one room to the other. Bubsy 2, it's some kind of rabbit, some kind of platformer game. I don't think there was a Bubsy 1 for the Game Boy. Not that I've seen. DuckTales, an adaptation of the classic NES game. Tetris Blast. It's a bunch of Tetris games where you get a little bit of help with bombs and special bombs and whatnot. And sometimes you have to use bombs to actually win the game and win each level. Tamagotchi. Apparently there was a small craze back in the 90s where you got this little egg-shaped toy, and you basically had to take care of it and raise it kind of and do certain things with it to keep it alive and whatnot. This is basically an adaptation of that. Boomer's Adventure in Asmic World. It's kind of a platformer escape type game. Mickey Mouse Magic Wands. It's a platformer escape type game where Mickey uses a magic wand to attack his enemies and change certain things. Gradius Interstellar Assault. This is a space shooter, side-scrolling space shooter. I found a lot of these space shooters on the Game Boy to be really, really tough. So, The Addams Family, a platformer based on the Addams Family movies. Castlevania Adventure, the typical Castlevania game, before they became Metroidvania games. Here's an interesting game, Go Go Tank. Basically, the idea of this game is you're this and they're cutesy graphics. You're this plane, and you've got a hook. And you got this tank following you. And what you have to do is you have to lift off blocks that are blocking the tank from getting to the exit. And you have to move the blocks so that the tank can get to the exit. Sometimes you have to put them in a certain place so that he can get over, the tank can get over the obstacle. Sometimes you just have to move the blocks out of the way. But the idea is for the plane to help the tank get to its exit. And it's kind of an awkward type game. Sometimes the movement's not as good. Paperboy, based on an adaptation of the NES/arcade game. Alleyway, Nintendo's answer to Break Out and Break Through. You're basically your Mario in a capsule at the bottom, and you've got these shapes at the top made of bricks, and you got a ball that comes down, and you use the ball to hit the bricks to make all the shapes disappear. So there's that. Gearworks, this is based on a old PC game, and what it is on each level they give you equipment like gears and whatnot, and you have to connect the gears to make everything in the room work. And they give you certain gears to use, and that's how you finish each level, by putting all the gears in the right place. Tiny Toons, Wacky Sports, basically a bunch of sports games that to use Tiny Toon characters. Mickey's Dangerous Chase, which is basically kind of like Crazy Castle, only with Mickey Mouse characters instead of Bugs Bunny characters.